So this is the updated build for the Blunderbuss Ice Gauntlet. This is more of an assassin build, so this is what I used in the last 2 wars, but I recently went back to my old build. So if you want a more in-depth of my older build, everything on that is going to be exactly the same. I'll show the weapon tree that I used on my older build because I'm playing it at the moment. But this is pretty much another build that you guys could also take advantage of. Shirking Hills, refreshing, resilient. This is really just a free, refreshing, resilient piece. Shirking Hills is really only good if it's like 3 to 4 pieces deep. So, you know, this is free. This is great if you have 3 or 4. But perks on the Blunderbuss are too important to give them up. So for now, this is just a placer. Shirking, Fortification, and Resilient, I think are, you know, the best perks you can have. They're king. Especially right now, Fortify is so important with all the, you know, stamina changes and all that jazz. Okay, Exhaustive Netshot, because I've been using Netshot, and I think Netshot is a very good skill to use. You know, I've, you know, grown kind of fond of the skill because it is just, man, when you see the slow that's applied to these people, man, do you see it? Everyone can see it. So, especially with my build, how I played it, you know, double down, I shoot a net shot, 2 seconds later, I have another net shot to apply a slow. So it's really good. And the exhaustive net shot is a perfect perk. Plague Splitting Grenades, you know, self-explanatory. You want an in-depth video on that stuff, listen to my last video. It goes more in depth with it. Shirking Energy, Resilient, Shrapnel Blast, heals you, too good. Unending Thaw, this is for your Ice Gauntlet. It is absolutely amazing. I 100% would suggest it. Intelligence, Divine Health. Divine Health is king to me. I'm about to get the Depths Amulet, which is, I think, Fortified Recovery, Divine Health. It's practically like a low-key BIS. But once I get like another 700k or maybe another 1 mil gold from playing the market, I may just swap it up to a BIS Amulet. This is the ring that I use with this build because of my attribute split. Burning, Ice Damage, and Hardy. This is just an all-around good thing for the build. It helps Ice Gauntlet. You're using an Aquamarine in your Blunderbuss, so it's going to help it as well. This is the other ring that I used in my previous video. Thrust, Hardy, Burning. This is also BIS for you. You hit a little bit higher with the Blunderbuss, but because of my attribute split, I have to use the other one. But with my older build, this is the one I was using. The Earring, Refreshing, is so good. Refreshing Toast is king. And then Purifying Toast, I love losing a debuff. I'm thinking about getting another one that has Refreshing Toast, Nimble, and Refreshing, or, you know, like Regenerating or something else, just because of the stamina changes. This is the Ice Golem that I use now, Keen Speed, Keen Enchanted. Because of stamina changes, I like to have haste 24/7, and it allows me to run around the map more often. This is also really good for 3v3s. Enchanted, Keenly Empowered are absolute BIS on a Blunderbuss. This is technically the only 2 that you need, and I highly suggest that if you have a purple one, just level it up. You don't need to have a legendary one. If you're looking for BIS Blunderbuss, it's Keen, Enchanted, Keenly Empowered. That is the way to go. Attribute split. So this should be, the strength should be 100, 300 intelligence, and 115 con. 15 points in intelligence and 15 points in strength. Extra are so minuscule, but with health, you can never go wrong. Never go wrong with health. Okay? Now we have the Weapon Mastery. Blunderbuss. This is the Weapon Mastery for my old build. If you guys want a more in-depth one, go check out my other video. It has a more explained version of it. I'm going to give you guys the build that I was using when all the bugs and all that stuff were happening with the Blunderbuss. And I'll show you guys exactly. This is it right here. You need the net shot slow. It is too damn good. You have to have 2 points here. Everything else is pretty self-explanatory. Because Last Chance, you don't need Fortified Aggression. The only downside to this is your auto attacks will do less damage because you don't have Ramp. Ramp is super good, and then obviously you have Deep Load. So Deep Load, and then Unload is also just a burst damage. But this is going to help you set up your splitting grenades because of the slows with the net shot. Shrapnel Blast is still going to do a huge chunk of damage, and you're still going to do decent damage, but you're going to have more survivability, and you're going to have more of just burst in general. With the older build, it's more of a quick burst, you know? It's a claw shot, auto, shrapnel, auto, and they were dead. This one is more of a slow play, but it can hurt multiple people, not just one person, and it's just overall good utility. So this is the old one. The next portion of this video is going to be clips playing over, and with the clips playing over, I'm going to have, you know, a small little rant and where I think the weapon itself stands right now. So this is the portion of the video where I'm going to pretty much just give my 2 cents on where I believe the Blunder is at the moment. So to start it off, what I don't like about it, what I didn't like about it was all the bugs at first. It was terrible. I had a really hard time playing the Blunder, but I stuck it out like a champ because I love the weapon so damn much that I wasn't willing to change it. And I refuse to change it now, you know, because this is my weapon, I've chosen it, and I'm going to keep playing it. Even if it was a tier F weapon, I would just continuously play it. I would use it strictly for utility, right? I don't like the Shrapnel Blast change. It's not the end of the world, but it's also a little annoying that it's now, when it hits the ground, it's 1 second instead of on release. So that's really annoying on that part. But right now, there isn't much to complain about because they've kind of fixed everything. Unload works perfectly now. Claw shot works fine. So with that being said, I can now go back to my old build if I wanted to. Which I will go between, you know, back and forth between the old build and the new build, which I explained earlier. What I do like about it is that now I can play more builds with it. It doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be vanilla. I can choose, you know, to play 3 to 4 builds compared to only playing one build that I know is going to smash everyone, so I just play it and continuously play it. Now I know that net shot is viable, and especially with the buffs to net shot, I was happy that they did that, right? So that stuff is all, you know, fine and dandy. How I believe it ranks up against other weapons, it's probably a B tier weapon. It used to be an S tier weapon, but because of all those Sword and Shield Blunderbuss players that just love to one-shot people for some odd reason, the item or the weapon got gutted. The 8% damage reduction feels more like a 15 to 20% damage reduction. It probably isn't, and I'm probably being a little dramatic, but the weapon itself just feels a lot weaker. It is not as strong as it used to be, and it's a little disappointing that because you had players who were taking advantage of a one-shot build, that everyone suffers, you know? Because now, guess what? Now those players that picked that up are now all playing bow and spear, right? So it's a little annoying because they're just on to the next one. But, you know, anyone that's still playing the weapon, I would probably say just stay strong. You know, it's only going to go up from here. I think we're at the bottom of where the Blunderbuss could be. If they were to nerf it again, I'd be extremely surprised. So yeah, I'd probably say it's a B, like a B tier weapon right now. It still has the burst. Just have to play more patiently, and you just have to be on point with your shots. Because if you miss one shot, it could be, you know, the deciding factor on killing that person right then and there, or having them run around for another 10 to 15 seconds. So, you know, better players will be playing this. So if you see someone playing it, just, you know, you'll be able to tell if they're great or not. You know, and that's that. How I feel about the Blunder post-patch, still, like I said, still a strong weapon. I will always play this weapon because it's my favorite weapon, and I have the most fun on this game with this weapon. So I will never swap off. If you guys are wanting to play something that is more just flavor of the month OP, you may as well play Bow and Spear. It's busted right now, okay? But my personal experience, now that I've played it for about, you know, a week and a half since the patch came out, I can say for an absolute fact that I'll never change off this weapon, and that the weapon is still strong, and I could still do an assassin build for wars, which is the most fun thing ever. I will say that if you think that you can play Sword and Shield Blunderbuss, by all means you can, but it is so lackluster now that you may as well swap off. I suggest going to Sword and Shield Hatchet, or if you really want to play Blunderbuss but you like that, you know, heavy CC style, I would go with Void Gauntlet Blunderbuss. Ice Gauntlet is not as hard CC as it used to be, so it's more of just a utility to get away or to trap people, to set up the combo. But yeah, that's kind of like my 2 cents and my little rant that I had. I had a much larger rant before the patch, you know, this new one that came out, but now after seeing the fixes and seeing everything that happened, I am a lot less pissed off, and I'm a lot happier where the weapon is now, and I'm looking forward to making more videos of this weapon. Thank you guys all for the support. I do appreciate it. Everyone that likes and comments on my videos, I appreciate you guys. At any point, if you guys are looking for an answer to something, just leave a comment. I answer 99% of them. So, please do so. Once again, thank you guys so much, and you guys have a great day.